Hello everyone. Welcome back again to another episode of Entertainment with Buford and Francis. Today I'm cosplaying as Buford Van Stom from Phineas and Ferb, and I'll be telling the story of Monsters, Inc. Enjoy the video. A young kid lays in bed, frightened while looking at his closet door. Next thing he knows, beady red eyes appear from under his bed, and a monster stands behind him after he rises, snarling while showing his claws. The boy sits up and screams, and the scary monster opens his eyes and, instantly startled, walking backwards, he squishes a soccer ball, which hits him in the face, slips on a skateboard, acting like a banana peel, and lands in a pile of sharp jacks. He screams again in dire pain while running in circles, knocking over a dresser drawer, and begins grunting when the jacks try to come right off his backside. Suddenly, alarms go off, lights come on. When the monster gasps, the boy is still scared, not saying anything, and goes back to bed, revealing it to be an animatronic. With a backwards movement, the garage door is open, the monster takes the last jack off, and we discover that it is a scaring practice going on in the training room of Monsters Incorporated, the power company of Monstropolis. The head of the power is Mr. Waternews, who is training new monsters to scare kids. It seems that Monstropolis gets all its power from screams, and he has a whole squad of monsters whose job it is to scare kids at night and collect their screams. However, the city is experiencing an energy crisis as modern kids are progressively getting harder to scare. It is a very complicated system they have for collecting the screams. They have a warehouse full of closet doors, and they call up a particular door for whichever room they want. The door is sent by a hanging conveyor belt and placed in front of the monster on the scare floor. When the door is opened, the monster is in another room in another part of the world. If for any reason there's a problem with that particular room, the door is shredded. Ironically, monsters are actually more scared of the human kids than the kids are of them, and they believe that even the slightest touch from a human is enough to kill them. If any part of the human world enters the monster world, the CDA, or the Child Detection Agency, comes in and decontaminates the place and the monster bringing it in. The top scarer of the company is James P. Sullivan, also known as Sully. He is the best in the business. With the help of his assistant, Mike Wazowski, they are about to break the record for the most screams collected. In second place of the list of scarers is Randall Boggs, who will stop at nothing to be in first place. One night, Mike is in a hurry to get out since he has a date with his girlfriend Celia May to celebrate her birthday at a fancy restaurant that he just reserved. He forgets to finish his paperwork though, so Sully says he will go back to get it. Sully goes back to the scare floor, now deserted, except for one door that's still on the floor. Sully is curious, so he peeks inside the door to a child's room, where no one's inside. Suddenly he hears thumping sound caused by his tail. As he turns around, he notices a cute little human girl playing with it, not scared of Sully at all, and in fact thinks he is cute. Sully is terrified of her and tries to pull her back into her room before anyone finds out. Quickly, he runs out the door, back to the scare floor, and into the bathroom to get as far away from the girl as he can. When he looks into the mirror, however, he discovers that the girl is on his back. Sully places the girl in a suitcase and takes her back to the door again. But when he goes back to the scare floor, Randall is already there looking in the door, upset that the girl isn't there. He sends the door back to the door vault. Worried, Sully heads out to Harryhausen's to find Mike. He interrupts Mike and Celia's dinner and shows Mike what he has in the suitcase, but both realize that the girl inside got out, sending the whole restaurant in a panic with the monsters being evacuated. The CDA arrive, and the patrons are panicking and running, terribly fearful of the girl. Sully scoops her up, and he, the girl, who he names Boo, and Mike run to their apartment. Just before the restaurant is encased in a decontamination dome, they try to hide her as the helicopters are searching outside, but whenever she cries, the lights come on brighter. Though when she laughs, the lights come on super bright. In fact, she laughs so hard that once she blows the fuse to the building. The next day, they put a monster costume on Boo and bring her to the factory. Their goal is to find her door and bring her back without anyone noticing. Unfortunately, Randall and Fungus are also there searching for Boo. It It made the news about Boo and the restaurant, and they are sure it is their fault. Eventually, Randall convinces Mike that the door will be there waiting for them if they bring the girl back to the scream floor. Mike tells Sully this, and right before they enter, Sully figures out that Randall would never want to help him, so it must be a trap of some kind. Thinks he is crazy and rushes in and starts jumping on Boo's bed to prove nothing is wrong. Suddenly, a box comes down and traps Mike inside. Sully hides as Randall and his assistant take the box to another room in the warehouse. In the basement, Randall reveals to Mike that he has built a machine called the Scream Extractor to forcibly extract children's screams from their lungs, which would make the company's current tactics redundant. Randall straps Mike to the chair for experimentation and starts it up to try not to let him talk, but Sully unplugs the machine. He then takes Mike and, along with Boo, runs to find Mr. Waternews. In the stimulation room, Sully attempts to tell Waternews what happened, but Waternews orders him to give the scare demonstration at the recruits' insistence. Sully reluctantly does so, but unintentionally frightens Boo. After the recruits leave, the terrified Boo accidentally reveals herself, much to Waternews' shock. Mike explains everything to him and what Randall was doing. Sully attempts to comfort Boo, but she is just too scared by what she saw. Sully then sees himself and Boo on the simulator monitors, soon realizing just how wrong scaring children is. Waternews is proud of the two of them for discovering Randall's evil plan. The most important thing is, however, getting the girl back home. Waternews calls up Boo's closet door. Sully and Mike say that it is the wrong door. Mr. Waternews says he knows. It is not the door from her, but for them, and with that, he pushes the two through a door that leads them to the snowy peaks of the Himalayas. Waternews has actually been helping Randall in the plan this whole time. They have been banished from Monstropolis. Sully and Mike meet the abominable snowman, who tells them that there is a village at the bottom of the mountain, which gives Sully the idea that if they go to the village, all they have to do is find any kid's closet and return to Monstropolis. Back to the scare floor, and out of a door comes Sully. In Randall's lair, he and Mr. Waternews argue over Randall's negligence that forced Waternews to banish Sully, feeling regretful about it. Sully rushes to the secret room, and there, trapped in a chair, is Boo, about to have her scream sucked out. Sully arrives and destroys the machine, takes Boo, and they rush to the scream floor, along with Mike, who also returned from the Himalayas, to get her door with Randall right on their heels. They race from door to door, trying to find a shortcut to Boo's door in the warehouse. Each door they go through takes them to different places throughout the earth. They finally trap Randall in a door that leads to a trailer in the bayou. The kid in the trailer calls out to his mother that another alligator has come inside, and the boy hands a shovel to his mother, who then clubs the gator. Once they return to the scare floor, the CDA chases Mike while Waternews chases Sully and Boo through a door that appears to be Boo's. Waternews confronts Sully and declares that he will do anything to save the company, even if it means kidnapping children. Suddenly, an alarm sounds, and all the lights come on. They are not in Boo's room after all. They are actually in the training room, and Waternews has just confessed in front of everyone. They are all shocked, and the CDA arrests Waternews after hearing his confession. As he's being dragged away, he accuses Sully of destroying Monsters Incorporated and worsening the energy crisis. The actual head of the company was Monsters Inc.'s dispatcher Roz, who has been undercover for over 2.5 years trying to expose Randall and Waternews' plan. She congratulates Sully and gets the key to bringing Boo's door down. Sully, who has grown quite fond of Boo, tucks her in her own bed, plays with a few of her toys with her, and then goes back to his own world, shutting the door behind him to never see Boo again, and turning that door back into Boo's ordinary closet. The door is shredded. Following Waternews' arrest, the workers are now leaving the factory for the last time. It is permanently closing because kids just cannot be scared anymore. As Mike comments on how the past few days went, Sully hears him say the word last and suddenly has an idea of how to save the company. A couple of days later, Mike enters a kid's closet door. He sits down in front of the kid and starts doing a stand-up routine as a comedian, but no avail. Mike has had enough and quickly does his final act. He swallows his microphone, waits a few seconds, and then burps loudly. making the kid laugh. As Mike leaves, he checks the power generated, and it is an enormous amount. Turns out that a child's laugh has 10 times the power of a children's scream. The factory is saved, and everyone got their jobs back. However, Sully is still sad he misses Boo. As mementos, he kept one of Boo's drawings and a single piece of her door under some pages on his clipboard. Mike then tells him he has a surprise. In the testing room, it is revealed that Mike had replaced Boo's door successfully together. All it needs is one more piece. Sully grabs the final piece from his clipboard, places it into the door, and the light above illuminates. He slowly opens the door and looks to see if Boo is around. Boo then says, "Kitty," and Sully smiles in delight for seeing Boo once more.